but huge portion of these containers travel empty, consuming fuel, emitting pollution, and they travel very long distance with nothing inside them. Now, can we change this? Can we reduce this empty, inefficient journey? That's exactly why we're here to talk today. We want to share with you our container tracking and handling network project, which aims to reshape the sustainability of global supply chain. Before we dive into details, we're going to start with a little introduction, and then we're going to talk about container usage in Africa specifically. So we can start now. Our project is designed to tackle logistic inefficiencies by optimizing container tracking and usage with a focus on reducing carbon emissions, enhancing logistic flow, and promoting the reuse and recycling of containers. This project aims to transform the supply chain into more sustainable and environmentally friendly and economically viable system. Now that we have an overview of the project objectives, let's take a closer look at the context we're working specifically in this issue of container usage in Africa. The reuse of containers is limited as exports are predominantly in the form of raw materials. This imbalance contributes inefficiencies in Africa. Container utilization rates are low, so it means more empty containers remain in the circulation, also creating more additional cost in logistics. High logistic costs, low export competitiveness, it's affecting both importers and exporters. Negative impacts on ECR. As a result of these challenges, African exports struggles a lot. Negative increasing transportation costs. This cost puts extra strain on Africa's logistics system, unfortunately. Accumulation of empty containers and congestion at ports, which leads to slowing down the operations and reducing port efficiency. And the last one is environmental pollution leading to poor air quality, and poor air quality equals to a risky community health. With that in mind, let's talk about the project goals and how they're designed to provide the lasting solutions. First one is the improve container flow in logistics by tracking usage and recycling damaged containers. Efficient container tracking and recycling means that fewer containers sit idle and damaged containers can be repurposed. This directly addresses the congestion we saw on the last slide, the Africa part. The second one is reduce cost, carbon emissions, and energy waste in transportation. This makes logistics more affordable and helps reducing the environmental footprint of transportation, so it's important. The third one is, and the last one, support economic, social, and environmental sustainability through efficient supply chain management. This goal encourages increasing social well-being and creating new economic opportunities. After reviewing the project goals, we can take a look at the project timeline now. The first step is the project will kick off in New York, aiming to reduce carbon emissions and improve logistic efficiency. The other step is container tracking with GPS. We're going to talk about about this in the next slide. GPS and IoT will be tested at a selected port with improvements made based on feedbacks. Testing will ensure us that it's fully optimized. The third one is user training sessions will be held and system enhancements will be based on feedback. It will help us to improve the system. After pilot testing, the system will be introduced to the international markets, and then a mobile and a web application for container tracking and reservation will be developed using machine learning to increase efficiency. Adding machine learning will boost the efficiency for us. Unrepairable containers will be recycled and repurposed for the agriculture. And the last one is environmental and economic impacts will be monitored and the system will be optimized accordingly. Now we can move on to the technology behind this project. IoT and GPS sensors. Each container is equipped with the IoT and GPS sensors to track real-time data like location, temperature, humidity, and load status. This ensures efficient monitoring and quick response to the logistic needs. And then cloud-based data analyst. Collected data is processed on a cloud platform where machine learning algorithm analyze the pattern and predict container availability at different ports. This helps optimize container flow and reduces waiting times and inefficiencies. And the other part is API integration. The project's API-based interface allows seamless communication between different logistics systems, enabling real-time tracking and data updates across various platforms. This ensures real-time updates and keeps all those stakeholders aligned, so it's important. And the other one is blockchain for data security. Blockchain technology secures data storage and ensures that all steps are transparent and verifiable, enhancing user trust in data integrity and security. So it's this level of accountability is really important, and it also sets a new bar for the new start for the integrity in logistics. And the last one is mobile and web applications. The project offers a user-friendly application for real-time container tracking, reservations, and status monitoring, simplifying logistic operations for businesses and enabling efficient container allocations. Now that we covered the technology parts, we can talk about the impacts. Let's start with the environmental ones. Efficient management of empty containers minimize unnecessary transport, thereby reducing carbon emissions. And then, optimized container transport reduces unnecessary fuel consumption, decreasing fossil fuel use and environmental pollution. So it means we're contributing to a cleaner, more sustainable future for everyone. Recycling and repurposing damaged containers decrease waste and help conserve natural resources. It's a win for both environment and a win for economy. Centralized management of empty containers reduces congestion and pollution at the ports. It also improves the working conditions for the port employees and makes operations easier for the businesses. Lightly damaged containers are repurposed for the hydroponic farming, supporting local agriculture and enhancing food security. And then reuse of the container aligns with circular economy principles, lowering the demand for the new production and conserving natural resources, and this aligns perfectly with the global sustainability goals. This project also provides some economic advantages. Let's explore them. Efficient management of empty containers lowers transportation costs, providing significant saving for businesses. This efficiency also enables businesses invest more in growth and innovations. Reduced risk of damage and loss in logistic operations, decreased insurance expenses. And then recycling and agriculture projects create local job opportunities, supporting regional economies. It means this project is also empowers communities. And the other one is the project investment in sustainable technology offers long-term financial benefits for business, so it leads to more resilient future for the businesses. And then reused containers reduce the needs for new container production, saving on raw materials and manufacturing costs. This approach is a win-win for both businesses and the environment again. Resolving the empty containers issue allows resources to be allocated to strategic trade projects. And the last one is lower transport costs and faster operations make exports more competitive. So it also strengthens the country's position in global markets. Now let's take a look at the financial expectation of ours of the projects. First one is logistic cost saving. Currently, logistic costs are high, but the project aims to achieve saving of 50%, resulting in an estimated annual cost reduction of $10 billion. And then increase in the export capacity. Export capacity currently stagnant at 0%, is expected to increase 50% post-project. And then empty container waiting time. Before the project, the waiting time for empty containers was high. With container waiting for extended periods at ports, the target after the project is a 30% reduction in the waiting time. Container turnover rates are low, with the container spending prolonged periods at ports, but the project targets a 50% increase in turnover rates. The last one is, and we think the most important part is, carbon emissions monitoring success in rates. Carbon emission monitoring is not in currently place, but the project will implement 100% monitoring and reporting. Now we can take a look at this societal and agricultural impacts now. First one is the use of damaged containers in hydroponic farming, supporting local agricultural production, thereby enhancing food security. And then the second one is recycling and agricultural project creates job opportunities for the local population and provide economic prospects. Third one, training on sustainability and recycling raise environmental awareness in the community and strengthen social solidarity. So the thing is, empowering people with knowledge is the key for change in environmental change. The fourth one, methods like hydroponic farming and container recycling increase resource efficiency by saving water and space in agriculture. The last one is hydroponic system requiring less land compared to the traditional agriculture, promote sustainable farming practices. As we can see, this project has a lot of potential, but like any large-scale initiative, there are also some risks. Let's start with the first one. Significant investment is required to set up the hydroponic systems and recycle containers, so it means initial costs are going to be high. Continuous maintenance and potential technical failures can disrupt the project, and technology can be unpredictable, so that could be an issue. Insufficient demand for the produced crop could affect economic sustainability. And delays caused by legal requirements and permits may hinder progress, and then negative perception or opposition from the local community can slow the project acceptance and implementation. So that's why we think the transparency is a key to overcome this issue. Weather conditions and environmental factors can impact crop yield and system efficiency, and ensuring sustainability use of water and energy crucial for a long-term success. Despite this risk, this project offers a lot of potential. Now we have a conclusion part. The project aims to reduce carbon emissions, use resources more efficiently, and establish more sustainable infrastructure in global logistic process by reusing and recycling empty containers, energy and cost saving, with using the technology of IoT and blockchain systems. And the project's vision is seeks to create a sustainable future by driving transformation in economic, environmental, and social domains. Together, we are taking an important step towards building a more sustainable, efficient, and environmentally friendly future. Thank you for listening.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that very interesting presentation. So we're going to start asking some questions. I think my biggest question to start with is how does it work? I mean, you mentioned use of blockchain or GPS tracking, but how would that increase the efficiency of the system? Because you mentioned that you're gonna improve the management of container or centralized management container. Can you explain to me how does that work, and how does it improve the efficiency and solve this problem?
With the technology we use, with GPS and IoT sensors like cloud-based data analytics and blockchain technology, that's all the technology behind this project. They're gonna help monitoring container movements to the users, and it's the most important part, and physical conditions, while blockchain ensures data. This technology mix enables real-time monitoring of logistic operations and reliable data management. So if the users are willing to use our application and network system, they're gonna be able to have the benefits of the projects of ours.
Well, you mentioned in your project, your beginning, the introduction, that the main problem is this imbalance of trade, right? And because of the lack of exports. But I don't understand, how does that technology solve that problem? You're still gonna have all these empty containers. All you're gonna do is you're gonna know where they are. Other than that, how does that solve the problem with empty containers?
Well, let me think. The application is going to help the users to find the containers, empty containers, much faster way, not the old-fashioned way. In the old-fashioned way, people are trying to make some contacts, finding some people, and the process is too long. Logistic process and steps are too long, and the application is gonna shorten this operation times.
So that would shorten the time. So I can see that helping instead of making phone calls or to say where can I find an empty container, you can go online and use your app and find the empty container. But how does that solve the imbalance? You're still going to have empty containers, right? That's I'm not understanding how does that helps you find a container if you need an empty container, but if you don't have very much exports, how does that solve the problem?
We're planning to use the empty containers also in the agriculture. As I said, they're
But you
gonna
can use damaged containers. That you're saying the damaged containers you
damage
would use
ones.
for agriculture. But what about all the other good containers that are sitting empty?
It's step to step. It's gonna faster make the operations faster. When the operations are faster, there's gonna be reduce in the cost. So the economically it's going to be better. And if the economy better, there's gonna be more operations in logistic and trading. So there's gonna be much more need for the use of containers, and they're gonna have a lot of easy way to track the containers now with this application now.
Okay. Now, these ocean containers or these track containers, they go all over the world. So your sensors, IoT sensors, GPS trackers, are you going to install them on all containers throughout the world, or install them when they arrive in Africa, or how does that work?
We specifically think for the Africa firstly. So we need to fix the Africa's problem firstly. Then it could be a worldwide project, of course.
So my question is, so let's say a ship comes in with 1,000 containers, let's say, then you would go and install in these containers GPS trackers, each one, and who would pay for that? And then what happens when they leave Africa and go back to wherever they came from? How would you deal with that? Like you said, put the equipment. How does this GPS trackers get on these containers?
Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of money economically, but for the Africa, it's the most like economic solve we could find. Like we could say, like for the containers, build a lot of buildings, like make a lot of places, but it will be not economic for the Africa situation. So the application and this network project is the most economic one that we could think of.
Well, I understand. I'm just trying to understand how would it work. So, like in an instance where a container ship arrives at an African port, right? It has containers on it, and the containers are unloaded. Now, where does the GPS trackers get on the container so you can track them? When do they get installed on the containers? Who installs them?
Sorry?
Who installs these GPS trackers on the containers?
With the our projects, then we're gonna have some agreements with the more sustainable focused other projects. We're gonna have like a lot of connections with the other environmental friendly projects, and it's going to help the issue, I guess.
Well, I'm not sure you understand my question. So when a container arrives, okay, at the port, and we want, let's say we have your project, we invest in your project and say, okay, we're going to put GPS trackers and IoT sensors on containers. My question is, where are they installed? Are they installed when they arrive in Africa, or are they installed somewhere else? To use your system, you need to have these GPS trackers, right? And IoT sensors. So how are they installed? When are they installed? Who installs them? Have you thought about how that works? How do you track them?
When they arrived at the container African ports, and they're gonna stuck, and there are gonna be a lot of congestions on the ports. So we're gonna start at the African ports, and we're gonna implement the GPS inside of them.
Okay,
with
so you
some
will install
engineers.
them. Okay, so I'm just understanding the process. So when a container arrives in African port, you will your company or your group will go and install GPS sensors in them.
Mhm.
And what happened? And then some of them are going to stay because they're no expert, but some of them are going to leave, right? With stuff in them, so they're going to go all over the world. So you're going to track them all over the world, or so that's my question is because containers are always moving, right? They come in, they leave, some stay. They don't stay within Africa necessarily.
Yes.
And the containers are owned by shipping companies, right? So I'm trying to understand how this work. Let's say a Maersk ship comes in with some containers and a China shipping come in some containers. How do you install GPS trackers on things that you don't own?
Hmm.
You don't own the containers, right? The shipping companies own the containers.
We want to make our project like more worldwide, so we're hoping that every container can have GPS now from this start. We can start with Africa, then it could be worldwide, and it'll be easy for like every country.
I see. Okay, so the plan is to install GPS trackers on all containers in the world eventually, but we're going to start by installing them all that arrive in Africa, correct? Okay, all right. Understand that. And then you talk about hydroponic farming. Is this, you understand would be crops, with the cost, what's the cost of hydroponic farming versus traditional farming?
I can't give you exact number, but it's gonna be expensive. But there's a lot of benefits of when you give the initial. It's when you pay the initial cost, it's gonna give a lot of benefits, and it's a really have a lot of benefits on the agriculture. It's a new way of agriculture, so I think it's like we could give it a shot, give it a chance.
Yeah, the question is because one of the challenges in Africa, okay, that's one of the things. The question, it's not they're poorer countries, the less developed countries there. So there are a lot of the expensive technology that could be used in more developed countries. It's not affordable in Africa, right? So they tend to use more lower cost ways of doing things because they don't have the money to do these high technology things. So I'm just wondering, what is the cost of, is it feasible for you to do hydroponic in Africa when it's already a poor country?
So there are some investors in Africa, but they don't have really a lot of investments like projects, and like it's not that very educated place. So if you if we can show them our project, the African investors can help us with the making the steps, taking the steps with us.
So you think it's a profitable investment, that
Yes.
investing it will be is profitable? Have you done
Yes.
any calculations to show what the profits would be? Like, do they show the investor? If I don't know what it was, the cost to convert a container to hydroponic farming, and then what it costs to operate a hydroponic farming versus a traditional farming, right? Where you're just using the land. Have you done a cost comparison to make sure that, like, when you say it's profitable, can you show me that it's profitable?
Well, it is hard to like give you an exact number, but from our research, it's gonna cost for the initial. It's gonna cost a lot, but then it's gonna help with the resources. It's gonna help with the water issue of in Africa, water-wise and resource-wise and land-wise. It's going to have a lot of benefits. That's what we think.
Okay. Okay, that's about the time we have for our 10-minute question and answer period. So thank you very much for your presentation and your answers. The results will be announced on November 25th. So best of luck to you all. And thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Okay,
Nice to meet
goodbye.
you. Goodbye.